Nightmare raids? More like complete and utter disaster raids. Let's talk about it in this video I'm not super happy to be making. Hey! So this previous week, we got our first edition, our first iteration of the Nightmare raids, which were supposed to be a harder version of raids. And I think that everyone understood that who went into them. My Alliance talked about it beforehand if we wanted to try them and so forth. And we decided we all did because we were doing normal raids just fine. And we figured, yeah, let's go for the new top raids and see what we can do, right? So we get in and right away we experienced all the same issues as basically everyone else experienced, or at least everyone aside from a select few people experienced with it, I guess. And that is, we had bugs to the fights. We had a very small pool of champions who could actually do any significant damage. And we just had, essays, full essays to read in order to try and figure out the fight. And then we got some okay feedback from Kabam, but not really very great. And so here we are with a player base which is feeling very upset at the moment. All the talks right now are around boycotts in videos and streams and everywhere you go. I'll talk about my feelings about that a little bit later in this video, but I first just wanted to address the Nightmare raids themselves. I think that, for raids, we ended up here. This was my completion reward for doing Nightmare raids. I got 4 million. I got nearly 5 million gold. That's what I got because my battle group didn't finish, because I was not going to ask my battle group to spend units to get it down. That's so sweet. I got now nearly 360 million gold. That's wonderful. That's what my battle group got. I didn't get to choose from the selector to get a light essence, which honestly I don't care about, because light essences are pieces of a champ that we're chasing sometime in the future that we don't know anything about whether or not they'll actually be good. And the previous champion of the idol class or type that they released, Isophene, frankly was not good and was not received very well. So I don't really care about that part. If we got people in our alliance who are free to play and that's their only way of getting the pieces, I care for their sake. I don't really care as much for me. If I really wanted to, I could spend to get it. But like I said, who knows? It's something we're chasing. We don't know if it's going to be any good or not. The first one wasn't, so it doesn't seem very exciting. But then I didn't get the other thing which you would normally get from completing this. Upon completion, instead of this, it wouldn't just be that gold. It would be that gold, 2 tier 6 class catalysts, a full tier 4 alpha catalyst, and a full 7-star crystal. Again, honestly, I don't care that much, because for where I'm at in the game, that's stuff I can get within a week or two of grinding. I'm currently sitting on quite a lot of tier 6 class catalysts that I'm not using because I don't really have any champions I'm super duper excited to rank up. 2 more would be nice. That's fine. Getting another of the alpha catalysts is always nice because you can take more champions to rank 3. That's fine. I got 3 of them there. It's not the end of the world, but I think that when you take into consideration the fact that the game was, the game mode was completely bugged and completely overtuned. I don't care how hard they said they wanted it to be. That Apocalypse fight was not okay. When you have someone like Simula who makes some of the best guides on YouTube about how to fight bosses and that kind of stuff, saying it's too many nodes and it's too much reading, that's not okay. I mean, I joke all the time about not liking to read, but I actually do read all of this stuff. Obviously, I read people's comments and all that kind of stuff. I'm perfectly capable of reading. This was not okay. That Apocalypse fight was absolutely ridiculous. Let's take a little look at it right now. So we go in, we see I have all of the charges because I'm doing, I'm Papa Luke, so I have the Vanguard there, and you can see I'm fully charged up. So go in, we got all of this ridiculous sheet of stuff where I'm like, what am I even looking at? I did read this stuff before I fought. This is the second time I did this, but I just wanted to show exactly how much is on this boss. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. You have to do all these different things. You have the longest crush they've ever put in the game, but you have to intercept and you have to do, it's just absolutely ridiculous book of things you had to do. Had 2 revives left from the free ones they sent us, the 7 free revives. And let's go in and see how I actually do in this fight. So because I chose the one where you have to do, Papa Luke needs to have you hit into the block in order to get him to do damage so that you can put armor breaks on the other champion. Do you see the armor breaks not popping up right there until I've blocked that special one? But I don't want to block the regular hits from him, because if he hits me a second time, I don't back off fast enough, I'm going to get stunned. Okay, well, sweet. Now I got the 2 poisons on me from blocking those 2 special ones. If I was better, could I have completely avoided the special one? Sure, okay. But how would I have gotten the armor breaks up on him so that I could actually do damage? I don't know. I don't have any clue how you would do that. Trying to get up the raid fervor to do damage and whatnot. Like, I think this might have been one of my best runs at it. What did I get? I'm 1% down. Whoops, that was me trying to dex it, realizing that if I just keep eating that, I'm going to be... Oh, yep, nope. Even with Papa Luke's indestructible, I'm dead in less than a minute, and I did 1% damage, maybe? Okay, that was really, really fun. That is fun fight design. That was excellent. You know what? Let's go back and try it again. I'm sure I can do a better job on this run. Let's see how this one goes. Okay, so we're starting off. Don't want to block because I'm going to get, stunned if I block him twice in a row. So just get the intercept there. That was cool. Oh, nope, now I'm stunned. Now, oh yeah, not even twice in a row. That was just once, right? Yeah, that's super duper excellent. Well, now I got the weakness and I got the poison. And last time I tried to dex that, I ate it and got, oh no, look, there he's back to it again. Okay. Well, we got our armor breaks up on him. We got 5 armor breaks, so that's pretty exciting. We're doing a bit of damage here. We're still at 96% on his health, though, so that's a bummer. Okay, get that. Do a heavy. Get my debilitate off. Sweet. All right, now we got a concussion. We got what? Oh no, I blocked, and that's. I absolutely do not want to. I managed to get up to 6 charges for the other role there, so that's super duper exciting. And that was my experience with the Apocalypse boss. But then there was also the time I went back in with the revives from AQ, which give you regular AQ, which give you like 2,000 health or something like that. They're like a tiny. I couldn't even sit. I would just die to the recoils. As soon as he fired off the special, I just died. And it was just like, oh, sweet. Okay, that's cool. I don't have a bunch of glory to use on healing up my champion to try and give it another full health chance to get 1% taken off. I never want to speak ill about the devs or the playtesters or anybody who works at Kabam, because they've always been very nice to me and all my interactions have been great. I think they're great people. They're doing the best job they can. I will say that I do not understand how someone could have playtested this and thought this is okay. I just don't get it. And this is setting aside how messed up the Korg fight was, where you need to do things that sometimes aren't possible because of the other nodes they put on there. Depending on which Korg you faced, if it was the first one, second one, or third one, there'd be things that you just really couldn't do very effectively. This is setting aside the fact that his Thorns damage was bugged. This is setting aside the fact that you couldn't really get the Dex mission very easily on the Weapon X fight, maybe because of the size thing. So there's these other bugs. This is aside from the fact that there are champions whose their attacks were just whiffing and they were missing when they dash in on their medium attack. This is aside from the regular issues in the game where you get intercepted on medium intercepts when you're too close all the damn time. They haven't fixed. It's throwing all that other stuff out. That Apocalypse fight is absolutely ridiculous. I do not understand how someone could have possibly play tested that and thought, yeah, this is an acceptable level of difficulty. Did they only play with Purgatory? Did they only play with Iron Man? Did they only play with like whatever Ironheart? There was like 3 or 4 champions you could use to really kind of get through these raids really well and cheese it, and everybody else sucked. Everybody else sucked. Shout out to the awesome, as usual, Cat Murdoch for making this. But here are all the champions you could use for Nightmare raids. And basically, okay, so we had, I hear people did some good with Storm. I hear people did some good with, Purgatory was the best champion there, because she could just cheese it, right? And then who else did someone say? Someone said Ironheart was good. So we got like 3 champions from the same class, and then I don't know who. So like all these champions, if you're putting these champions in there as the champions who you should be able to use to get through these nightmare raids, every single one of these champions should be a good option for taking out every single fight, including the boss. Now, some are going to be better options for certain fights than other fights, but every single champion should at least be able to go in there and do, I don't know, a full damage run on the majority of their tries, even if you're trying to learn the fights because they have a bazillion nodes, even if you're trying to figure out which ones are the best to take, which buffs are the best to take with which champions. Even if you're trying to figure that out, and you throw aside the fact that we get to do this once a month and we don't get to experiment at all, like Simula and other people have said over and over again, it'd be nice to be able to have a team or be able to swap out a champion after each round to see that, like, oh, the Crit Crusher one isn't working with the champion I chose, so now I'm going to choose somebody else going forward so I don't feel so horrible. I don't feel like I'm going to let my entire alliance down by not getting this done. We have this huge pool and like 3 or 4 champions worked. That is unacceptable. I don't understand how that could be play tested by someone who could say this is fine. Because if I was play testing this, I would have tested every single one of these champions for a week straight, at least, to make sure that they all worked on every single fight. And if I'd gone in there and done all that testing, how would you not find that the champions whiffed? Or how would you not find that Korg's Thorns damage was overtuned? And if it's a case of Kabam needing to hire more testers, hey, I'm right here. And I don't have skills like MSD or Mike or FinTech or whomever else have. I have much more basic. I have 42-year-old man who's been playing video games for years skills, who doesn't have the response times and who just, will actually go through and struggle through and feel free to use some revives and do that, but will get it done because of persistence, not because I'm so super skilled and can dex every special in the game. So if you need somebody, hi, I'm right here. I ain't got a job. I live in Seattle. Vancouver's right next door. I can come up there. If you need someone to play test this stuff accurately, I'll do it for you, because whoever you got doing it for you right now, like I said, I don't know who did this, but and I don't want to throw shade at anybody. I don't understand. You got to make me understand how it worked, because this is ridiculous. And I'm sure people are doing the best job they can, and then like these are real people. I don't want anybody attacking them, and these could be people I've met before and people that I personally like, but this is not acceptable. This is just absolutely ridiculous. So then we get a response on the forums. We kind of got a thread on the forums talking this through, and like this person here, they said this is like going through the forums has always been a horrible experience, but like this is what page did we have to get to though? This is on page 14 under the section of Nightmare Raids broke, and we have someone asking, can we at least get our raids tickets back? I think we should absolutely have our raids tickets back. Then showing off the fight timeouts. Yeah, took off 5% with perfect play. Ridiculous. Anyone know how to deal with the APOC? Someone saying how, God, after all that, this was your reward for doing that in one of those chests. Those RNG chests are still just absolute garbage. Somebody getting 1,500 units or a full Titan compared to somebody getting these 10 Valiant crystals where they got all 5 stars. That's absolutely ridiculous. That should not be allowed for this game mode if it's going to be the hardest AQ, hardest Alliance Quest experience. But okay, let's setting aside. There's so many different things to rant about this completely broken game mode that they introduced or released to us without having, I think, the proper testing, or somehow even worse, like Vegas said, this being properly tested and someone thinking this was okay to release. It's absolutely insane to me. But so, okay, Kabam found recipe to disgust its players, trash rewards, excessive difficulty. Well done. Yeah, I'm not going to read every single comment out here, but this one here, suddenly having so many YouTube pop up about MCOC and the so-called raid nightmare, decided to pop in and take a look. After I listened to Vega's video, it really shows the disconnect between Kabam as a company, development, and community staffs with the players' community. This is not an attack. This English might be this person's first language, and I'm misspeaking as I'm reading it. Against Kabamasaurus Rex, I like Karate Mike and misses his videos. He seems to be busy working on personal video these days, or anyone, but might be a good reflection of points for the Kabam team, development, and community. Here are 3 statements from Kabam regarding raids. While Mike posted, let's remember the contents from Kabam. Yeah, I absolutely love Mike. Mike's a great dude. This is not against Mike in any way. So I don't know exactly where this came from. So For Loki isn't having issues. I think you proved my previous post To be accurate, top 10%, heck, top 1% quick. Everyone pull out the rank 3 SIG 200 Purgatory that I know everyone has. Mike saying Korg's Thorns may be currently bugged, overtuned, as I said. They decided not to change that if that was the case. Additionally, at this point, Nightmare Raids were intentionally designed to be very hard. Yes, they were designed to be very hard. We got that. To that point, I would say, I did not hear anyone saying that regular raids weren't hard enough. I never heard anyone say that, not even a single time. The reason I enjoy playing regular raids is because I'm not playing map 8 of Alliance Quest, because I can get it done in 1 day or 2 days and I don't have to think about it. As an Alliance leader, I don't have to check in on a Thursday or Friday morning being like, did every battle group finish up, or do I need to tag someone with 30 minutes left who's probably in a meeting at work and just forgot to do that? Because it's 4 days out of the week that we got to do map 8 over and over again with the most boring ass fights ever. I think they should get rid of regular Alliance Quest and only have raids, but they certainly shouldn't do it to only have Nightmare Raids. Anyways, additionally, at this point, Nightmare Raids are intentionally designed to be very hard. Okay, that's fine. I don't think anyone was asking for that. That's not what anybody liked about raids, but okay, that's, you know, he's saying they were intentionally, they're always intentionally advertised as such immediately to be difficult. Okay, that's fine. No, having them be difficult is one thing. Doing 1% damage if I'm lucky in a fight that I was at full health on, that is not acceptable. That is not an acceptable level of difficulty unless you brought Purgatory or Iron Man or whoever the perfect champion was. That is not acceptable. Okay, I'm not going to go for every little thing this person responded to here, but here, let's Mike saying again, let's have, hey there folks, let's have a quick fireside chat about Nightmare Raids. To start this off, we are not going to be canceling this week of raids or AQ. Okay. We will be sending out an additional round of 700% Alliance raid revives. Okay. I definitely pushed them to do that in the content creator program, as many people did. And we thought, yes, let's send out. I said I'd prefer if you just uncapped the revives, but go ahead and sure, send out what you can, right? So go out ASAP to any summoner who's currently in Alliance, whether they're actively in raids or not, because it doesn't matter. They can just send that out and they're going to disappear anyways because they expire really quickly now. So what's it hurt them to send out 7? What would it have hurt them to send out 100? I don't know. Nothing. Let's break down some issues with the launch of Nightmare Raids. At launch, Weapon X's signature ability was able to bypass the always forward node, so he could heal be above his starting health points. That's some total BS. That wasn't supposed to be that way. How did you not find that when you were playing against him? Very weird. Korg's Thorns seem to have launched higher than intended as well. Again, don't know how that happens. We won't be able to make any adjustments to Korg this round, but we'll be addressed in the future raid weeks. Okay. Nightmare Raids were designed to intentionally be extremely difficult. Okay. Again, I don't know who was asking for that, but okay. Game team will look at everything while tuning for round 2 of Nightmare Raids. That being said, we still intend for Nightmare Raids to hold the highest level of difficulty in our Alliance Quest environment. That's fine, but nobody does Alliance Quest because it's fun content. Like literally no one. I've never in my 9 years of playing this across multiple different alliances ever heard anyone say, I love doing Alliance Quest. Like not a single time have I ever heard someone say that. Not once. You do it because it gets you good rewards, but it's a pain in the ass. Everyone wishes the game mode would go away. Maybe I'm overstating that. Maybe not everyone, but nobody says it's like, oh, Alliance Quest is my favorite game mode. Absolutely. I love going in and doing the exact same thing over and over again every week ad nauseum. And if I don't do it, I might be in trouble with my Alliance leader because I let the team down. Yeah, nobody says that. Nobody says that. Raids were more fun. Regular raids were more fun because you could get them done quickly and spend less time doing Alliance Quest. Not because we were like, oh, raids are way more difficult. One thing I will say about raids that I did enjoy was using like Papa Luke and doing a bunch of damage. That was super fun. I liked that. I was like, okay, this fight's repetitive. I'm going back in and over again to the same fight a couple times. And that's kind of boring that it's so repetitive, but you know, that's fine. I can spend 15 minutes doing this, getting those charges for my teammates because I'm hitting the damage cap every time. And that's super fun. Going in and seeing huge, big numbers. That's fun. Part of the reason I play this game is for the feedback I get from seeing those gigantic numbers. That is very, very fun. Going in and doing 1% damage is awful. And going in and doing kind of like 5 or 6% damage on some of the other fights, that didn't feel that great either. It's exactly the wrong message to take from those people who are enjoying raids, is that they wanted them to be more difficult. And if the idea is you must always have greater difficulty in order to introduce greater rewards to the community, that is complete and total utter bullshit. There is such a thing as inflation. There's such a thing as account creep and growth. And there gets to be a point where doing the same thing over and over again the rewards that you get aren't worth it, and that's why people stop doing things like event quest or side quest, because they haven't buffed those rewards. And it's not because the difficulty wasn't good enough to make them want to do it, and it's not that they should have to do a greater difficulty to get greater rewards every time. It's that they're just not valuable enough to spend your time doing it and waste your time with that when the rewards are not keeping up with the rest of the game economy. Inflation happens in the game economy the same way that it happens in a regular economy. And you can't just be like, no, you need to do more difficult content. Every last piece needs to be more and more difficult in order for you to get better rewards. No, they just need to buff the rewards that exist for the content that already exists, because they're no longer keeping up with where they were a while ago just due to inflation. So saying you have to do more difficult raids in order to get better rewards, absolute bullshit. I will not accept that answer from them. That is not exactly what they've said, but it seems to always tie in together where you only get better rewards when you get more difficult content. That's bullshit. Absolute bullshit. I'm not bleeping this one because I'm not taking the time. That's what it is. All right. Been chatting with the folks in charge of raids to see if any issues went unaccounted for. Well, clearly, now again, no shade to Mike. Clearly, issues went unaccounted for because we had all those bugs. So they clearly went unaccounted for. I don't know how you'd say they didn't. I mean, absolutely. Okay, and then yeah, we're going down and seeing how hard it is to get to anything in the forums, because this is ridiculous and forums are, I just keep scrolling down. Where's that? Okay. So Mike responding to this post here, and from Friday here. So, you know, okay, we'll read this. Suddenly having so many, okay, like him. There are 3 statements from Kabam regarding the raids. Yeah, do we want to read this? This implies, whether intentional or not, that there's players that are the problem. Clearly, they're not good enough for what Kabam consider as a good, challenging content for lower players like me, sure. But if Legacy and Vega are not having fun with it, then maybe Kabam got the balance of the mode wrong. Never remember hearing Vega swear before. I mean, I've met him in person. He swears a lot, but that's a different story. So before jump in and start blaming players, actually test the content first and listen to the players too. This might be an initial experience for Raid Nightmare, but it's definitely not an initial experience of bugged and unbalanced content being released. The initial raids were bugged upon their release. So Nightmare bugs being raided too is not a surprise, because the initial raids were also bugged. And I don't remember if they gave us all compensation for that the first time, but I want to say they did. And I haven't seen anything about compensation coming through so far about this experience, other than the 7 revives, which is, like Vega said, frankly insulting. This person saying, raid itself have never been released without a bug. Yes. Are taking steps to minimize this from happening in the future is inadequate. I would agree. I'm not doing Nightmare raids next time unless that APOC fight is tuned down big time and they got rid of the bugs or they get rid of the cap on the revives, because it's absolutely ridiculous to expect people to go in there and spend thousands of units possibly to get this done. We are in the 10th year of the game. This should have been the case many years ago. This might be a part of the issue why Kabam struggled to create balanced content. Kabam having advisors, employees are like Karate Mike, MSD, and FinTech. Again, no shade, all good people who are some of the best players in the game. Then how can development team understand the struggle of the 99.9% of players? Are we saying Legacy, Vega, and Campo need to get good? That's not what Mike says, definitely. Do people remember the Karina, CCP, Tiger, and Mojo challenges? Yeah, those suck, but that was something you could get through because you could stash revives. Please start to really listen to your players. It's clear from Kabam Crash the data doesn't give Kabam enough info. Yeah, that is one thing, a point I would make, that regardless of the data, the data and facts, Ace Fusion, a good YouTuber and an Alliance member of mine, said that, but data and facts aren't exactly the same thing, because data can be, you can use it to take conclusions from it that you will, and that might not be the actual situation of, what is going on. So let's hope this is the bottom and only up from here for everyone. Kabam spender, free to play. Good luck to you all. Okay. So so Mike's response. This is a great write-up. I didn't take it as an attack. I like you too and miss making videos for you. Yes, I am swamped nowadays. Hoping to get back to it soon. That is awesome, because we want more Karate Mike videos for sure. I think it's very important to note that all this messaging was made within the first 24 hours of Nightmare Raids launching. I usually like to take more time to cast a wider net of feedback when new features launch, but there was a demand for some community interaction on the forums, and I made a point to be present until 4 a.m. that Monday when it launched, reading and interacting about the content here. I care about this game and the community more than I could describe in words, so I did not mind working way after hours to do so. I mind that. Mike shouldn't have to do that. But I guarantee you he's telling the truth on this one. I have seen many instances where Mike is working much later than their office hours, and I often wonder when the heck Mike is sleeping. Mike is an awesome guy. To that point, the running joke about my alliance would be a lot funnier to me if it was anything more than a candid answer to a question about what my alliance was saying about raids less than 4 hours after launch. So he's saying, I think that it was a joke about 4Loki not having any issues. That's hard to follow somewhat. I want to point out the distinction between stating the nightmare raids is intentionally designed to be very difficult and saying get good. When we're angry, it's very easy to take things out of context, especially via text, but we would never blame our players or tell them to get good. So I think what he's saying there is he was joking in a text form of 4Loki not complaining about anything, and so maybe people misunderstood that. And that's hard because, yes, in text format, you can't necessarily get a joke across that way. So I think that's what he's trying to say there. If I'm interpreting that correctly. If the wording came out across that way, it certainly was not intentional. It was a reminder of the content's intention before we explored the data and the full depth of feedback we would receive over the week. When tuning for round 2 is complete, the game's team intent is for nightmare raids to still be difficult. Difficult's fine. They need to be fun. They need to be fun. Bottom line. I think it's fair to say we missed the mark in round 1. Yep. But I'm very confident in the team's ability to design a fun experience for round 2. I don't know what else he would say besides that. I'm not as confident as he is about that because, well, why didn't they get it right? It's okay to screw up, but they screwed up the first time they released raids. Why in this iteration was it so screwed up? I find it hard to believe. If the question over and over again comes back to they don't have enough people working there to test this stuff out fully, I don't have any sympathy for a company which makes money and is profitable not hiring enough people. I just don't. Like, it's never going to be the case. And so that's never going to be the answer I want to hear. But if that's their answer, I'm not going to be happy with that answer. That's not what Mike is saying here, but from other discussions, that's kind of the impression I get. Or crashed post about layoffs and that kind of stuff. Rest assured, the wider community sentiment regarding raids has been shared with the game team, and everything that the community is saying has been heard. We grab feedback and sentiment from all corners of the battle realm, not only the top 1%. I do believe that because he's getting my feedback right now. They're getting my feedback, and I definitely am not the top 1%. I don't know what percentage I am in terms of spenders, but I tell you what, I did my taxes yesterday, and I spent a good deal of money on this game last year, and it's not the first year that I've done that. I will tell you, it's a lot closer to $5,000 than it was to like $1,000, like a lot closer. And part of that, I can say, well, I'm making my money off of YouTube and I'm using that as a tax write-off to offset that cost. But I probably didn't need to spend as much as I did to get that tax write-off when I'm not making that much money, frankly. And it's enough money where like, what percentage of spenders am I at? Maybe I'm not in the 1% of spenders for that amount. I don't know. I don't know how that works, but man, I am not in a mood to spend anything on this game right now. So I said I'd get back and I'd talk about the boycott idea. For me, the boycott is too nebulous. It doesn't have anything specific enough as a specific goal. Every time I ask somebody about what's the goal, it's, you know, like watching Vega's video, it's when he's happy with this and gets an apology and certain things. And that's cool. I want my buddy Vega to be happy with the game. I want everyone to be happy with the game and playing it, having a good time. But their happiness is not my happiness. So that's not going to be the metric by which I decide when I want to spend money again. And so let me be clear. I'm not calling for a boycott. I'm just saying if you want to boycott and you don't want to spend, I don't blame you. Because right now I'm not in the mood to spend. And until I see something done about things like this where, okay, so, you know, we keep getting posts saying they hear us. And I get that Mike wanted to get some conversation out on the forums because there won feedback that night, right? And I get that Crash put out the post on Friday a little sooner than he wanted to when he was obviously working on the post anyways, and it should have been coming out this week, but he put it out on Friday because the boycott talks started, right? I get that. I get that they're hearing us. They're not showing us that they're hearing us. Like, you can say you hear me all you want to, but unless you show me, I don't really care. Like, it's better to say you hear me and at least give that feedback, because a lot of times we'll just go months where they just completely ignore an issue and don't give us any kind of feedback. And my impression has always been that, like, they won't send out compensation until a bug is fixed, and they want to make sure they've got it fixed, and then they send compensation. But I've often said there are times when I need to at least have you acknowledge that this bug is existing and then go, hey, this bug isn't fixed yet, but we're sorry we haven't got it fixed yet. It's more complicated than we realized. Here's some compensation in the meantime. We'll give more compensation when it's finally fixed for good, right? So like it's better than hearing nothing. But when you hear me and everybody else in the community saying this is not acceptable, and then as of 5 o'clock on a Monday afternoon when they're done with their office day at Kabam and they haven't sent out any kind of compensation for these nightmare raids, that's not good enough for me. That's you hear me, but you're not showing me that you hear me. You hear me, but you're not showing me that you're doing what you need to do to address this problem to make someone like me or my alliance mates happy again. So for those of you who got it done in your battle group, you chose the right champions. Good for you. That's awesome. Congratulations. What I want Kabam to do is send out those same rewards to everybody who just attempted nightmare raids. If you didn't get it done, I still think you should get all of those same rewards, and the people who got it done should get them twice, and that's fine. I don't care if those people who got it done get another tier 4 alpha and a couple T6 CC and a 7-star crystal. Give them another one. That's fine. But I think that everyone who attempted it, for it being so many different bugs and such terrible, crappy, bullshit design on Apocalypse, I think everybody should get that sent out to us, and I think they should get it sent out to us ASAP. And I think included with that, you should get your 180 raids tickets you used to buy into this sent back. And if they do that, well, they will be showing me that they are not just hearing me, but they're also listening to what I'm saying. Because right now you can hear me, but you're not showing me that you're actually listening to what I'm saying. And this, frankly, is just absolutely not acceptable. This is not acceptable. Going forward, I will not have my alliance doing these nightmare raids. Well, the other alternative is, okay, maybe 10 people say they want to do it, and then and then the rest of us want to do regular raids and not deal with this BS again. But the 10 people who have the best counters go in there and do it. So then 10% is getting the best rewards, but then the other 20 aren't. And I got to reorganize a battle group to make sure that even though it's not the same battle group, now they're all in the same thing for raids. Like, I don't want to have to deal with that. I don't need that headache. This has been a miserable experience, a week of just doing this kind of BS, having this back and forth with Kabam in the content creator program, with all sorts of people on Discord, in line, watching videos about people unhappy with the game mode. I've seen people who are very good players who spent thousands of units getting this done. I've seen people who are players who weren't as skilled, who spent like 5,000 units getting this done just so as they didn't let their alliance mates down. And now they're thinking of leaving their alliance if their alliance does nightmare raids again. People shouldn't have to deal with this stress. And the very, very, very minimum Kabam can do for all of us having to deal with this stress and deal with this bullshit is send out compensation in the form of getting all your raids tickets back and giving everyone the rewards for completion. So, you know, we dropped to where 176th for our Alliance Quest rewards for the week. I don't even care. Normally we'd be like 46th, 50th, something like that. I don't even care about this. That's fine. No big deal. Ignore that. Just give us the completion rewards for doing nightmare raids and give us our raids tickets back, and do that for everyone. And I'll say, okay, you screwed up. You owned up to it. You communicated. You heard me. You listened to what I was saying, and you did something appropriate to fix it. And while my sentiment is not going to be great about the game in general going forward because of all the other bugs and all of the other failures at Kabam and what they're failing to address in any kind of a timely fashion, and the fact that we have to have talks of boycotts and have to have videos like this calling them out because they never seem to do anything on their own until we're forcing them to do it. You know what? Those I'll be like, I'll ease up for at least this one issue. At least this one issue, I'll be like, hey, they did the right thing. And then when the other issues come up and other people can talk about continuing to boycott, or, you know, their unhappiness with the medium intercept and the bugs, or the unknown frigging errors in battlegrounds, or any other number of issues, not updating event quest, not updating the side quest, having saga incursions be awesome, but regular incursions suck balls. And so showing us how they're good could be good, but only giving it to us once every 3 months. Whatever your other issues with Kabam are, I will be like, hey, okay, in this case, they got it right. They heard us and they listened and they did it right. And so that'll give me a little bit of the benefit of the doubt of some of these things coming up in the future, that maybe they're going to get them right. And maybe they're going to listen, and maybe they're going to make changes that actually make the player base happy. And I understand me and my position is not the same as every other player in the game. Lots of people play the game, don't ever watch a damn YouTube video, don't ever watch a live stream. That's totally fine too. But if you tried these nightmare raids and you were happy, I don't even know I don't even know. I don't even know, because I'm not happy. My alliance isn't happy. My viewers on my streams aren't happy. No one I talk to is happy about this, and them just giving this out as this is what I get, and we don't get any kind of compensation at all. Absolutely unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. And that's all I got to say about that, I guess. So, cheers. Like, subscribe, comment down below what you're thinking. Blah, 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 blah. Kabam can do better than this. We all know they can do better than this, and this is not acceptable. That's it.